Hi, I'm Lanisha Robinson, your host for Career and Technical Education, #Build a Future. Working in St. Lucie Public Schools with the Career and Technical Education, CTE, we want to show what our teachers and students are doing in the classroom to close the skills gap in multiple fields. The educators for these programs are connecting their students in multiple ways to sustain business partners here in St. Lucie County. Students are able to network and earn industry certifications, which create more opportunities and options for all of our students at their high school. In this upcoming episode, we will have Mrs. Cindy Swertfager from Fort Pierce Central High School and Ms. Doris Tillman from Mainstreet Fort Pierce, and learn more about the culinary arts program connection to the community and our business partner from Mainstreet Fort Pierce. So welcome, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Doris Tillman with Mainstreet, downtown Fort Pierce.
Hi, I'm Cindy Swertfager, and I teach Culinary Arts 1 at Fort Pierce Central High School.
Okay. So let's talk business partnerships, working with culinary arts. What do you look for in potential business partners to merge your program with the community?
Well, that's an interesting question because obvious reasons you'd probably think we want restaurants because we're a culinary program, but really it could be anyone because we do teach life skills in our culinary program. So it could be someone that has a small business in accounting because obviously you have to purchase food and equipment for a restaurant. We even have a business partner with a hospital because one of Chef Strell, the advanced culinary teachers, former students, manages the food service program there. So really it could be anyone, could be a business partner.
Thank you. So why is it important to you to be a business partner with St. Lucie Public Schools?
Because I think that the children and even adults, they need to know about the community they live in and what it's like and what the values and what happens in it. And you know, our program is it's very important to us to teach the history and to share the exciting things that are coming to Fort Pierce.
So Cindy, at Fort Pierce Central High School, can you provide a background for our viewers about what exactly is culinary arts in that program there?
Sure, we have a Culinary Arts Academy that typically the students start in my class. I have 1 year of Culinary Arts 1, and we give them the foundation there, and I teach them, you know, basic things, knife skills, equipment, a little bit about cooking methods, and then we have the opportunity to get an industry certification from the National Registry of Food Service Professionals. It is a certified food manager. And then they would go to Culinary Arts 2 the next year and hone in on those skills and work in our big kitchen, and opportunity to get the Serve Safe certification. And then the 3 and 4 is their senior or junior year, depending upon when they started. And they cook most of the time, they work banquets, and those kids get real world experience because they are working in that program.
Oh, wow. So what particularly do you hear your students or students coming in, they say, hey, these are my expectations for the program? What do you usually hear from them?
Well, a lot of times they think it's just a cooking class. So we have to educate them that in order to cook, you have to be safe first. So you have to learn all of the sanitation rules. And at first they're, you know, a little bit probably disappointed, but then they understand why it's so important to learn that, because foodborne illness is serious and 3,000 people a year die from foodborne illnesses. So if we can make that number less, it'd be great.
Okay. So Doris, what exactly is Mainstreet Fort Pierce?
Well, Mainstreet was started by the National Trust in the 70s. They did a trial program with about 5 cities around the country, and did a grassroots using 4 points. The first one being design, economic vitality, promotion, and organization. And those simple 4 points being used in a community can help rebuild a downtown. It was mainly because that when the malls were built, it pulled out so many businesses, and the historic buildings were being torn down because everyone thought, I mean, there's even a song about it, that if you tear down a building and build a parking lot, people will come back. But that isn't what happened. So.
So what exactly is considered Mainstreet Fort Pierce? Like, what areas of Fort Pierce does that include?
Well, Fort Pierce is lucky because we actually have 2 Main Street programs. Ours is in the downtown area, which is from Citrus Avenue all the way down to about Avenue B, and then down Orange Avenue to 10th Street. The other is in the Lincoln Park district, and both of us work through the state Main Street program.
So how did you become involved with Mainstreet Fort Pierce?
Well, I volunteered, and as I was working for a television station, we were doing a lot of advertising for them, and so I started volunteering, and they asked me to be on their board. Well, the night I was supposed to be there, I couldn't find where they were, and the next meeting I was told I was the manager. So,
oh, wow.
Never miss a meeting.
So what would you say is the mission or the purpose behind Mainstreet Fort Pierce?
Our mission is to keep downtown an interesting place to be, to work with the businesses, to strengthen them, and to keep exciting things happening, and to share the history. We have actually a walking tour that's by phone that you can do. It's through the Florida Trust, and it also includes many other cities in the state of Florida. It's a fabulous program. And then we do a ghost walk, which will be coming up the week before Halloween. And about 1,000 people come to it. It's a great thing to do. We do 2 nights of it, and it's a lot of fun to share the history. But we have character actors. Over 100 actors participate with us. So.
Wow. So even Cindy's over here nodding her head. So for both of you, having worked together with Mainstreet Fort Pierce, what would you say is the connection between Mainstreet Fort Pierce and Fort Pierce Central High School? Either one of you can go first.
Well, it started for us listening to the businesses downtown, the restaurants, and they were struggling to find help. And we're members of the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Association, so I asked them to come, and we would pull in some people to come to a meeting, and we could discuss the problems and how to solve them. So we invited the culinary programs from the high school, the college, and also the restaurants downtown. Well, afterwards, we came up with this crazy idea, kind of both of us, and called the kitchen crawl. And we got 8 of our restaurants downtown to prepare food, and we brought the teachers from the programs from the different schools, and we went to each one of the restaurants, and they showed them their kitchens, how they are operated, and shared their favorite dish. And it was so much fun for all of us, but it also taught the teachers, what was going on in the different restaurants, so they could go back to their students and say, your style of cooking would be perfect for this business, And then we even created a Facebook where it was a private one that would just go from the restaurants to the schools and let them know when they had jobs available.
Wow. So Cindy, in your words, what is that connection with the kitchen crawl? Like, why did you participate in the kitchen crawl?
Oh, first of all, it was so much fun. We got to go with all our colleagues. So we, typically are out of school. So we got to be with all our culinary teacher friends. And the restaurants prepared little hors d'oeuvres and things for us, and we got to see their kitchen, so it was exciting. And actually, a bunch of our students were working at the restaurants. Some were working at the Taco Dive and Second Street Bistro, and we saw them there, so that was fun. And then, like Doris said, we can get our new students that are probably more like the seniors graduating future jobs. So it was great. It was a lot of fun.
Wow. So do you say that's a big, huge bonus, something that you all would definitely keep going in the future?
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. So then moving to the next topic, I know the next connection between the two of y'all is the Focus newsletter. What exactly is the Focus newsletter?
Well, the Main Street Focus paper was started years ago. It had a different name at that time, but it's basically just positive, good news about downtown Fort Pierce. It has a little bit of the history stories in it. It has new businesses that have opened, events that are coming up and happening. And then years ago, we started putting recipes in there. So I went to a conference in Seattle, and while I was there, we were given these books. And we went to this little restaurant where it's so multicultural there, and these women had all blended their recipes and shared them. And so I fell in love with it, and when I came back, I got a copy for Dana Caputo, And I said, we've got to try this and create a book here in Fort Pierce using the recipes from students in the culinary program. And it just, we all got excited, and we've been working on it ever since. And the recipes are in the focus, as well as a story about the student who it's their favorite dish.
So Cindy, with Roots and Recipes, how are your students actually collaborating with Mainstreet Fort Pierce with that?
Well, last year around March, Dana Caputo shared a brochure that also was in conjunction with the recipe book about these immigrant women in Seattle opening businesses. One woman has a farm, she's from Kenya. Another one has a restaurant from India. So Dana asked if any of us wanted to use this in our curriculum. And I said, yes, it's exciting. It just happened to be Women in History Month. So I said, great. So there are actually a couple questions right in the brochure. What does family mean to you? How do you connect with your roots? And what's a special recipe that you connect with your family? So I assigned reading the brochure to my class. We read it as a class. And then the students answered the questions, and that's what I used as my assignment. And some of the kids really took off. They just really got into it. So then I shared with the ones that I thought were the best entries with Doris and Dana, and they selected the students that they like best, and then Doris writes a little blurb about them, and we try to get a picture so it's, awesome, and then they are in the newsletter. So
these students had the opportunity to actually be basically in a public, their
Right.
work is actually published inside the newsletter. Wow, because I know one student you and I were speaking about was Caitlin. Can you share with us a little bit about what she wrote about and her story?
Sure, she's from South Africa, and the thing about Caitlin is she was one of my virtual students, so I didn't even have her in class. So it is an opportunity for me to get to know the students a little bit better, especially the ones that I had virtual last year. And she included a couple pictures. One, she went to South Africa to meet her relatives and share that special time, and spoke about a dish called soji. I believe it's a breakfast dish. And she had pictures of her and her family sitting around the table, and then them all getting together and in their native attire and stuff. So it was a lot of fun to learn about each student like that. But hers was especially thought out and touching.
So how often is the Focus newsletter actually published, or how
It
often?
comes out monthly. And our ultimate goal is to create our own cookbook with the students. And I know one of the businesses downtown has said they'd love to have a student come down and do a demonstration of their cooking. So we have a lot of fun things that we're kind of centering around all this with the book and everything, because we just have a lot of fun doing it.
So with Cindy, with your students, for example, like even Caitlin, with any of them, when they're working on this, do they have the opportunity to actually prepare it in the class or even bring it to the students?
Well, last year we did not, because it was a little chaotic with everything. But this year I was just sharing with Doris that I got a nod. I've done the assignment now with my new students this year, and I hope that as we pick the students, I will purchase the ingredients and then let them create the dish in my class so we can all share it and get a taste of it.
Okay. So Doris, looking at, because we did mention employment, or you all spoke about how there's potential opportunities in downtown Fort Pierce, Mainstreet Fort Pierce area. What are the vacant positions that are open right now, or what opportunities are there for our students that are leaving high school or even in high school right now that want employment?
There's the marina. We have a lot of restaurants downtown. When I first started with Main Street, we had like 2 restaurants, and now there's about 18 or 20. There's a bank. There's some shops. There's the cake lady. She has a fabulous business, and I know she was recently looking for help. Churches. There's different kinds of activities. I actually have a group coming in tomorrow from a private group, and they're coming in just to talk with me and find out what I do for a living, what my job actually is. And I don't even know where you start with a job like ours, because we only have 2 employees, and we do about 30 events a year. We produce the paper. We do so many things with just 2 people, and the rest are volunteers.
Okay. So are there any other initiatives by Mainstreet Fort Pierce to recruit talent or working on strategies to not only, when these students leave, some of them go away for college, what are you all doing to kind of like, I guess, attract them back to our area?
Actually, we just hired our second employee she just graduated from the University of Florida with a degree in business and mass communication. So, yeah, that is not my skill.
So I know you mentioned earlier, you talked about the different businesses that are there. If we were to take a trip or a tour of Mainstreet Fort Pierce, what are the businesses will we see in that area?
You know, the interesting thing about the businesses that are downtown, it used to be, you know, older people with businesses that they, you know, owned and operated. But this past year, during the COVID, most of the businesses that opened were millennials. And we have an axe throwing. We have I am so excited about the Fort Pierce Traders Market, because he had a little sandwich shop, and then he opened in the old SunTrust Bank building this fabulous fresh market, and they have a restaurant inside of it with healthy cooked foods. Everything in it is, or a lot of the products are local, you know, grown, and it's so exciting. And then you have a lot of restaurants. You have Taco Dive. That's one of my favorites. If I don't get in there at least once a week, I fall apart. But and 2nd Street Bistro and Sunrise City Cafe. And Sunrise City Cafe, she's interesting. She's a young woman. She owns that restaurant, but she also owns 2 different hair or salons in the downtown. So I think she used to work for the hospital. So we have a lot of young energy going downtown. One girl that I think she's 18 or 19 just opened a clothing store. So it's amazing to me and very exciting on top of that.
Wow. So Cindy, hearing all of that, do you see, like, start picturing any of your students that come to mind saying, hey, this student maybe wants to be an entrepreneur? Because I know everyone's that's the big thing right now is entrepreneurship. Do you hear a lot about that with your students?
Sure. We have a marketing program at our school, and also our upper culinary students have the Cobra Cafe, which is a working restaurant that we rent out for banquets up to 100 people. So they get a lot of experience there, so they can just go right over there and have, like Doris said, you know, accounting experience, business experience.
Okay. Do you have for like more plans or future plans for your students to actually connect more with the community and also stay connected with Mainstreet Fort Pierce?
Well, a few years ago, we also did a farmer's market competition where the students from a few different high schools went shopping in the farmer's market. They were given a budget, and then they had to cook a appetizer and a meal, and they got judged. So that was a lot of fun. I'd like to get back into that. And personally, I'm trying to create a meal service kit, kind of like HelloFresh. So we're working right now doing that. I'm looking for people to sponsor that and waiting on a Perkins grant to see if I can get some of the supplies donated for that. So we can, University of Florida paired up with one of my colleagues in a high school there, and they're doing a program there. So that sounded kind of interesting. I'd like to start that with my class too.
Now, is that a part of maybe like community outreach as well?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. So, Doris, I know you have a fish in front of you. If you don't mind holding that up, how does that connect with the community?
Well, we were, our design committee, we were trying to come up with an idea, because when you walk to North 2nd Street, after you pass the Taco Dive, then there really is just a stretch where there isn't much. And the Tickle Tummy Hill Bridge, which is a favorite to fly over, the fence along there, because we also have a $100 million project that will start hopefully in October. It just seemed barren with the old power company torn down. So someone said, you know, I saw this picture of a fence that had fish all over it. So she brought it in, and we all went, oh yeah, that's it. Because we thought about plants and different trees and stuff, but there is no water or nothing. It would have been hard to do along there. And with the project coming, that it would probably have been torn down later. So the fish fence, we all got so excited. And one of the people on the committee is married to Jerry Early from Fort St. Lucie High School. And his team to do, what's the word?
The building construction?
Yeah, the building construction.
Okay.
They offered to cut the fish out for us. So we had someone donate all the plywood, and then right before school ended, these kids cut out all the fish for us. There's 3 fish and a manatee. And so we just offered them to anybody who wanted to paint them, and we still do, although I think we're out of them now, so we need some more plywood and some more cutters. But it was such a success. The businesses downtown had paint nights, and it just has been a lot of fun. And in fact, the Women's Club just did one with the Boys and Girls Club, and we're going to be hanging those fish before too long. And it brightens up that stretch of road, and it's fun, and people stop and take pictures. It's really unique.
I went down there last year, and my husband and I went to see Doris. There's a house right there that decorates for Halloween. And
Oh, yeah.
I think it's a resident, and right across is the fish fence, and it's awesome. It's really cool. Everyone should go see it.
Wow. So this is another, basically almost like a full circle, where you have our students from St. Lucie Public Schools, building construction technologies at Port St. Lucie High School,
Yeah.
creating these works of art basically, and then the community members, or people from community, are able to use their artwork and their skills. Wow, that's amazing. What other, I guess, projects is going on with Mainstreet Fort Pierce? Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Well, right now we're getting ready to start planning for the Christmas parade. So it's I hope everyone can participate this year. We're not sure who will be able to, and hopefully things will clear up by then, and we'll be able to have it. That's a big project. The Kiwanis helps us with that, and we usually have about 2,000 people in the parade itself, and probably about 15,000 watching it. It's one of the biggest in the area, so it's a big undertaking, but it's a lot of fun too. And then last year, when we couldn't have the Christmas parade, instead we had the Grinch Stole Christmas, and the police department actually had a video of the police chief arresting the Grinch as he was cutting off the Christmas tree lights, and they did a bolo out for him to do a search. So we had some fun, and he would come downtown, constantly and go in and out of the businesses, and then we had Santa up on one of the floats that from the Fort Pierce Utility Authority, and so kids could see Santa, but they weren't able to touch, or we kept it distance. And we had the jazz club played music, and also we had a lot of fun. October Friday Fest is the Utility Authority will be it's their 50th anniversary this next year. So they always bring down the big trucks and all the big equipment, and they have the most beautiful American flag you could ever see, a giant, giant flag. And it's just heartwarming to see that blowing in the breeze. And that'll happen at the October Friday Fest, if we don't have rain.
So Cindy, thank you, just hearing about everything that Doris is mentioning about like community events with your students. Do they ever do any volunteer work, especially like maybe over the holidays?
Sure. We encourage them to do volunteer work, so that would be great to get some of them hooked up with the downtown Fort Pierce, so they can maybe even see some of the local businesses and connect with the restaurants to get some jobs.
Okay. So I guess with the listening audience, if they want to hear more about or find out more details about Fort Pierce Central High School Culinary Arts Program, where can they go to find that information?
We have a great website that Chef Stroll and some of his students actually created, and it's fpccobracafe.com, and it shows a bunch of pictures about each culinary program, a little, biography about Chef Stroll and myself, and a lot of the pictures of the past events that we've had, so you can go on there and see everything that we do.
Okay. And let's say there's a student on campus that is watching the show, or they hear about culinary arts. What can they do to get involved, or to have it, I guess, a part of, if they want to join the program, what could they do?
We have students every day that come to our classroom. I actually have a student this year who didn't even know about culinary, and that's unfortunate, but he is in my class now. He's an 11th grader, so we like to start them in 10th grade, but we started a career 9th grade exploratory program at our school. So toward the end of the year, we'll have a week where the freshman seminar classes come to an area where all the CTE programs are highlighted, and the kids can learn and see which one they'd like to choose and pick. And we know that everyone's not going to be in the restaurant business, but it's great to even take culinary because it's a life skill that you're going to learn. Everyone has to cook for themselves, and hopefully they want to eat healthy and not just buy fast food every day. So, and while you're getting your degree in something else or certificate in something else, you can have a fun job and know a little bit about it and be certified. So,
All right, and Doris, if the community members or even visitors coming to our area, they want to find out more about Mainstreet Fort Pierce, where can they go? Is there like a website or even a phone number they can call?
Our website is www.mainstreetfortpierce, all spelled out, .org. And our phone number is 772-466-3880. And yes, we are a good organization to earn your school points.
Okay, so as we prepare to close, I just want to thank you both for joining us today. But if you could share with us one last thing, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience? We'll start with Doris.
Wow. Well, I have been with this job 30 years, and it's been probably the best thing that ever, it became my life, my family, it became everything, because being part of rebuilding your community is something very special that you'll never forget. I was born in Jacksonville, Florida, but coming to Fort Pierce, I don't know, there's something special about Fort Pierce, and the people here are so loving and kind, and I really enjoy living here and working here.
Well, we appreciate you. All right, and Cindy, anything else you'd like to share?
sure, any future students or business partners, check out FPC Cobra Cafe and call us up, come take a tour, see what we offer, and we hope you join our family, because Chef Strell and I really help the students. And like I said, you don't have to, want to be a chef or a restaurant owner. You can just do it for the life skill.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. So I'm Lanisha Robinson, and this is Career and Technical Education, #Build a Future. We encourage you to view our St. Lucie Public Schools Career and Technical Education page. In Career and Technical Education, we are merging the career pathways pipeline for each of our students. We are building a future, continuing to close the skills gap, and partnering with our community. On behalf of the station's team, I'd like to thank you for joining us today.
Oh,